Finally, after 4 seasons, the character we've all wanted dead is finally gone. Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is gonna be my review for Game of Thrones Season 4, Episode 2, The Lion and the Rose. And as you can see, I'm really happy because of what happened in this episode. It was such a great episode. There was a lot going on, but it mainly focused on the wedding of Margaery and Joffrey. As you guys know, I cannot stand Joffrey. I had a feeling that when I heard wedding, I'm like, okay, how bad can this be? The Red Wedding just happened, so what's this wedding gonna be like? And boy, oh boy, I was not expecting that ending. And that ending just made me so happy. But let's just get to this episode. So, basically, this episode, we actually got to see some of the characters we didn't think we'd see before. And, we saw Bran again, we saw, Theon, or does he want to be called Reek, but we saw them again in this episode. One character we did not see was Daenerys. We didn't see anything with her character, so I guess next week we're gonna see, more of her. But basically, the episode begins in the forest, and a girl's being chased by, Theon, who's now they're calling Reek, of course, Ramsay, Miranda, and dogs. And they tell her if she makes it out of the woods, she wins. And Miranda hits the girl. Ramsay tells her she cannot kill the girl because they have to leave her to the dogs. Tyrion tells Jaime that his new hand, and basically that's what happened. They have to leave her to the dogs. So then Tyrion tells Jaime that his new hand looks good. Tyrion toasts the Lannister children, the dwarf, the cripple, and the mother of madness. I thought that was kind of funny. Because, Tyrion's the dwarf, Jaime's the cripple, and the mother of madness is Cersai. I thought that was actually, kind of funny the way he did that. But Jaime tells Tyrion that he cannot fight anymore. Tyrion asks what about his other hand, and Jaime tells him he cannot use it. He can't do it anymore, because he can't just fight with one hand, obviously. So Jaime's afraid people are going to find out he cannot fight. They will tell everyone, and Tyrion tells him to practice, and he lets Jaime know he has a perfect person to train with. And we soon find out that Tyrion has gone Bronn to help Jaime. Bronn wants him to use a sparing sword and not his blade, but Jaime is not interested. They start to spar. And I thought that's actually very interesting. It really showed how great of a brother Tyrion is to Jaime. We don't really get to see that a lot, but I thought it was great that we actually got a nice scene between Tyrion and Jaime. This is one of the reasons why Tyrion is probably definitely one of my favorite characters on the show, because not only is he really funny, he also is a very, sweet to his brother. So, meanwhile, Lord Rose Bolton gets back and introduces Lady Walder to his bastard son, Ramsay. Roose wants to see Theon, and Roose is not pleased that Ramsay has been flayed. Roose wanted to use Theon as a hostage and negotiate terms with his father. Roose is not pleased with his father. Roose tells his son that he has placed too much trust in him, and then Ramsay asks Reek/Theon to give him a nice close shave as his father watches. Ramsay asks Reek/Theon to tell Roose that Bran and Rickard Stark are still alive, and Ramsay tells Reek/Theon that Robb Stark is dead. And I thought that was actually, a very big scene, because as we know, Theon did not know Robb Stark is dead, and asks him how he feels about it. Roose offers a man 1,000 acres to find Bran and Rickard, and Roose tells Ramsay if he wants to prove he is a Bolton, to go get the Stark boys and take them out. So there he tells Tyrion that Shae has been noticed and that Cersai knows, and it's only a matter of time before his father, Tyrell Lannister, finds out. He warns Tyrion that his father promised to hang the next Tyrion, whore who he finds out about. So at a dinner for Margaery and Joffrey, Cersai points out Shae, Tyrion's whore, and Tyrell asks that Shae be brought back to his room. So Tyrion gives Joffrey a book for a wedding gift, and he thanks him. Joffrey's father gives him a sword made of Vitilian steel, and Joffrey picks up the sword and starts cutting things on the table. He asks what he should call the sword, and Joffrey then comments, each time I use it, I will be cutting Ned Stark's head off again, as Sansa listened. Obviously Sansa just does not want to hear about any Starks dying, so Tyrion's in his room and Shae comes in. This was actually very interesting, because as we know, Shae still thinks Tyrion is in love with her. She thinks that he's just playing hard to get, and she basically just thinks he still is in love with her. So he tells her he cannot continue their friendship, and she's very surprised when he says friendship. She thinks he's going to say relationship, but he said friendship, and he needs to uphold his vows. There's a ship for the harbor bound for Pentos. He's mean to Shae and tells her he has enjoyed his time with her, but it's over. Shae sobs. Tyrion lets her know Bronn will escort her to her ship. And meanwhile, over with Melisandre, of Ashai and Stannis. They are burning men. One Lord Florent, Stannis' brother-in-law at the stake. Stannis' wife is there, and she says she saw their soul go in the fire. Davos Seaworth is upset and tells Stannis, but Stannis does not care. Stannis, Melisandre, and his wife, Cersei Florent, are having dinner, and Cersei tells Stannis that their daughter is willful and she needs the rod. Stannis tells her she better not touch her. Cersei suggests Melisandre speaks to her. Melisandre heads to see Sharon and talk to her. Something attacks a deer, and then we see Bran being wakened. Yes, we do see Bran again, which I was happy about. Bran was in Summer's body, and Jojen tells him not to do it often because he could forget everything if he stays in Summer too long. Bran asks Hodor to take him to the tree. He starts to see a vision. Bran tells Mira and Jojen he knows where they have to go. And at the wedding, and here we get the rest of the episode, is basically the wedding of Margaery and Joffrey, which was pretty, was really big at this point. So at the wedding, we see them, the wedding is proceeding. Joffrey kisses Margaery to pledge his love. Sansa tells Tyrion that they have a new queen, and Tyrion says, better her than you. Lady Tyrell speaks to Tyrion and suggests that they celebrate young love. And then Bronn tells Tyrion that he saw the ship sail and Shae is gone. Bronn says to Tyrion, go drink till it feels like you did the right thing. So basically, Shae left because she feels like Tyrion doesn't give a shit about her. That's why she left. So Joffrey makes an announcement, and throughout this whole episode, Joffrey is just probably the most annoying he's ever been. There were parts in this episode where I was just so annoyed by Joffrey. Basically, he makes an announcement that Queen Margaery has an announcement to make to thank the gods for making the war come to an end. King Joffrey has decided the leftovers from the wedding will go to the poorest in the city. Jaime comes to see Loras Tyrell and tells him if he ever marries his sister, she will kill him in his sleep. So Brienne comes to see Margaery and Joffrey and congratulate them on their wedding. And then Joffrey dismisses her. Cersei thanks Brienne for rescuing her brother Jaime, and Brienne tells Cersei that Jaime saved her. Cersei asks Brienne if she loved Jaime, and Brienne excuses herself. Cersei arranges for the leftovers of the wedding to be fed to the dogs. She's going against Margaery's orders. And then we see Prince Oberyn again. You know, that prince from last week that was out to get all the Lannisters. Prince Oberyn comes to see Cersei and Tywin, and Prince Oberyn is sarcastic with Cersei and calls her a former regent and says, you must be happy to have the crown off your head, a weight off your neck. And Joffrey makes an announcement, tells everyone to clear the floor. He feels there's been too much amusement today, and he feels it's time to contemplate history. And this was just taking things way too far. I hated this. Basically, he's trying to humiliate Tyrion at this point. Out comes 5 dwarves dressed as the 5 kings in a play. They're making fun of everyone's claims to the throne. Tyrion's so upset. Sansa doesn't know what to do because one of the dwarves is dressed as her brother with a wolf head and screaming, I'm the king of the north, and Joffrey is laughing hysterically. He's loving every minute of this. And Joffrey asks if there are others they want to challenge his reign, and Joffrey asks if Tyrion wants to fight. Tyrion politely declines, but makes a few comments that does not please Joffrey, and he comes over and spills his wine on Tyrion's head. And this is where I'm just like, okay, can we kill Joffrey now? Because Joffrey was just going way too far, in my opinion, in this scene. Basically, Joffrey asks if there are others that want to challenge his, basically, Margaery calls Joffrey back because her father will be making a toast, and Joffrey says he cannot toast without wine, and demands that Tyrion be his cupbearer. And by the way, you know, this is as I said, this is all called the Purple Wedding, so when I heard that there was another wedding, again, it was really, really intense. So, Tyrion says, you do me a great honor. Joffrey replies, it was not meant as an honor. He drops his cup on the floor, makes Tyrion pick it up, and then demands he fill it while all the guests watch. He then demands Tyrion kneel before his king. And, you know, he's just so pissed at Tyrion at this point. Margaery then screams, look the pie, before, you know, Tyrion kneels, because Tyrion refuses to do it, because as we know, Tyrion despises Joffrey, one of the few people that actually likes to, you know, he likes to hit Joffrey. At that point, I'm just like, slap him in the face or something. Joffrey then takes his sword, goes over, cuts the pie open. Margaery feeds, Joffrey pie, and then Tyrion and Sansa get up to leave, because basically, Tyrion is just, he's had it at this point. He's tired of basically being Joffrey's slave. That's what Joffrey's treating like. He's treating like a slave, and Sansa's Tyrion can see that Sansa's uncomfortable. The whole episode, Tyrion's trying to prove to Sansa that he can be a good husband. And, you know, we saw a lot more of Tyrion and Sansa being a good, you know, husband and wife in this episode. I like seeing that, but you can see that Sansa's uncomfortable. Tyrion's extremely uncomfortable. He leaves, and Joffrey tells him he cannot leave. He has to bring him wine, and then goes to leave. And then, all of a sudden, the best part of the episode, because I was just so happy about this, Joffrey starts to choke, falls right to the floor, blood is coming out of his nose, and I'm like, oh my god, are they about to kill him? I got so excited here, because you have no idea how much I've wanted Joffrey to die, and it spits from his mouth, he's choking. Tyrion picks up Joffrey's cup, Cersei looks up, someone comes up to Sansa and tells her if she wants to leave, it has to be now, and Joffrey is now dead. And then the very end, Cersei just can't believe what's going on. She looks up at Tyrion, yells, "You did this, you killed my son, take him, take him." So now Cersei is out to get Tyrion, because she feels that Tyrion is the one that killed Joffrey. Now the question is, would he really do it? Honestly, I think Tyrion probably would do it, because Tyrion, as I said, hates Joffrey. Joffrey was treating him like a slave, so I think Tyrion would have killed Joffrey. But this episode was so amazing. I loved it. And I mean, the thing is, Joffrey is one of those kind of characters that I hate so much, because he basically he's so into himself, first of all. He's very, very conceited, really into himself, doesn't really give a shit about anybody. I don't even think he cared about Margaery, the woman he's you know, marrying. He didn't give a shit about her. And now he's dead, so I'm really happy about that. And the thing is, he was the only thing in the show that was making everyone annoyed. Everyone was so annoyed by Joffrey, and I myself was extremely annoyed by Joffrey. I hated his character. There was never a part where I enjoyed Joffrey's character at all. I never enjoyed it. But a couple things I am wondering besides the whole Joffrey thing, you know, besides all that happening, we did get some other stuff happen in this episode. For example, the whole thing with Bran. Is Theon really gonna kill Bran? You know, as we saw, he told him that, you know, Ramsay told Theon that basically he has to kill Bran. Would he really kill Bran? And, I'm wondering if Bran might die, but I don't really know if that's gonna happen. I guess we'll just have to see. But that's definitely gonna be interesting. Also, Stannis and, who am I thinking of? Stannis and, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Stannis and Davos. What's gonna happen there? I don't know. I wasn't as into that. I liked that whole plot, but I wasn't as into it. But overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I really love this episode. I was really, really into it. And I really, really, really love this one. I thought it was fantastic. Nothing wrong with it. So happy that Joffrey is dead. Because now, not only is Joffrey dead, but Cersei is out to get Tyrion now. So I really hope that Cersei doesn't get Tyrion. But now it's all-out war between the, you know, Baratheons. And will Cersei really kill her brother? That's the question. Cersei is Tyrion's sister, also Jaime's sister. Would she really go against Tyrion and Jaime? Would she really do something like that? I'm really not sure. I guess we'll just have to see, but all I know is that this was a great episode. I loved it so much. It was a perfect episode. There was nothing wrong with it. I was really, really, really into this episode. I loved everything about it. And let me know what you guys saw this episode. And were you happy to see Bran again? Theon, what's going to happen there? Will Theon kill Bran? I'm not really sure. Also, Shay. What happened to Shay? Is she gone from the show? Is she going to come back? I'm not really sure. But that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Sorry this review was shorter. It was just, there wasn't as much happening this episode as last week's. But I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for, my next video will be my review for Once Upon a Time. So, see you guys for that. Bye!